Hey guys, what's up? I wanted to make a video about Parry spammers, and I've really wanted to make this video for quite some time, um, but I never really felt like I had the right kind of material for it, and I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to say about it. Nif had a video that came out not too long ago where he talked about his strats for dealing with Parry spammers, and initially I thought, well, that's probably enough. I probably don't need to make anything else. Um, but I wanted to add to kind of what he had said and maybe talk a little bit more about some of the strategies and parry spamming in general and why it is unfortunately sometimes a successful strategy. Fighting somebody that's a parry spammer can be very frustrating ordeal because especially at higher levels, one single mistake is all it takes. And these days, you can almost guarantee that, especially at higher levels, any parry spammer's got a dark build with a chaos dagger, and it will most likely be a one shot if you make a mistake. Um, so, from a strategic perspective, they can continue to chug, chug, chug and cover up their mistakes, and they only need to be right one time. So if you think about somebody with 7 Estus and if you have a straight sword, um, that conservatively gives them, call it 25 to 30 chances with being punished on each of those attempts. So if you don't swing, obviously there's no punish. So part of the key in dealing with parry spammers is to make sure that you're punishing them. It's not enough to simply not swing. You want to make sure that you're imposing a cost on them every time they try and parry. So the traditional strategy that you see me employing here is the backstab. So either a run around backstab or just kind of circling around them while they're parrying is typically the approach you want to go for. You can also roll catch them when you go around for the backstab and they roll out. The strategy you're seeing me employ here is one that works against most parry spammers, and it's typically the right approach. The challenge is that there's really, in my view, two different types of parry spammers. There's sort of the what I would call the naive parry spammer, which is the player you're seeing here, not very experienced, not very skilled, and so when you don't swing into their parry shield, they're really not sure what to do with you. They don't have a plan B. So we'll see here in a few moments. I'm going to look at the other kind of parry spammer, which is a player that's better, and they know how to deal with somebody that's circling for a backstab. I personally, I cannot stand parry spamming. I think it's a really cheap, low skill kind of strat. Even though the folks that employ it sometimes are skilled in other ways, I think the parry spam itself is just a really cheap and crummy strategy to employ. It's not fun to fight against. I can't imagine that it's that fun to utilize. And honestly, I don't know how any self-respecting player thinks that it makes them a good player. But again, it is a reality of playing these games. And I've been playing a lot more at low levels lately. In fact, I've got a video coming out soon that'll show that in more detail. But at low levels, parry spamming is virtually all there is. An undead settlement, I tell you, every single invader is either a dark hand or a Dragon Slayer axe build with offhand cestus, full upgraded Estus, Hornet Ring, armor that attenuates a lot of the damage, and you're already doing so little damage at that level to begin with. These guys are just indestructible tanks, and so they can get away, especially at those levels, with parry spamming. And so again, this is a very frustrating thing to have to deal with. As you can see here, the host that I've been fighting, this Phantom is actually pretty good. He's got some decent spacing. He's shielding well. But the host is just a parry spammer, and he's obviously got the dried fingers running. He's probably relatively new, the host, meaning, and actually you'll see here that the invader here isn't much better. He's a parry spammer too. He just gets punished for it. So these guys, these what I would call the crummier parry spammers, you mix up your timing, You see me there holding off on the attack, charging my R2 a lot more, and just go around for the backstabs. That's really all you can do. This kind of player, on the other hand, presents a much more difficult challenge. So this guy knows what he's doing. He understands spacing. He understands the combat and mixes parry spamming in. So you see there, I charge the crap out of the R2. He'll catch me with that here in a minute. You see me hitting him with the L1 waggle. He's trying to reaction parry my straight sword R1. And he's not missing it by much. So here I'm trying to play more unlocked, dead angle. That's another thing that you want to do with these guys. And there he reads the fully charged R2 again. That doesn't happen very often, but this guy is clearly completely devoted to the idea of parrying me and not much else. See, I hit him with the L1 waggle. It didn't matter. I still think that was either a reaction parry or he may have picked up on a pattern with how much I was L1 waggling before I was attacking. This guy's obviously completely twinked out. He's got armor that's giving him super high defenses, so my attacks really aren't doing much damage to him at all. I mean, look at that, 69. I'm barely damaging this guy. And there I finally catch him with a backstab that does 177 points of damage. That's probably about 15% of his health. But this guy's good. He's picking up on patterns of mine and exploiting them. He notices that I'm not rolling immediately after the first two R1s, so he started throwing out a third R1. Unfortunately, we picked up a lag spike here. But these types of players are extremely frustrating to fight against. This guy, I think, in the course of like our 5-minute fight, probably went for about 25 parry attempts. So my strategy at this point, because I know he's going to try and reaction parry my straight sword R1s, I'm just going to turn and burn him, and then I'm going to play completely unlocked and try to dead angle him. But the thing you really have to watch is that even when you're unlocked, if you face them too directly, you can still get parried, as you'll see right there. That's exactly what happened. The third R1, I faced directly at my opponent, and that enabled him to get the parry. The only reason that I'm even alive right now and I still am able to fight is because I left Undead Settlement open. I didn't kill the boss. And you can see my Estus is substantially upgraded, which puts me probably about on par with him with respect to the amount of Estus I have. Still trying those reaction parries. And at this point here, I start mocking him. Just shameless, man. And if you think about it, most solo hosts in my position at this point wouldn't have nearly as much Estus as I would have. They would have probably 5 Estus at +2 or +3. Oh, how frustrating. These players probably frustrate me more than just about anything. So now I've just taken to mocking him. Just watching this irritates me. So you can see here now he runs out of Estus. So what does he do? He throws on the Silver Cat ring and runs away. Quality opponent. Thanks for watching, guys.